In this video, I'm going to share with you top 10 low light plants. Most of the plants are decorative and beautiful indoor plants. So stay until the end because you will see beautiful decorative low light plants. So first come these beautiful spider plants. They are growing so well in the low light, so you can keep them as decor plants as well, and they do prefer the moisture also in the soil. So keep these plants in the low light area for better growth. Money pothos plants are another beautiful indoor decorative plant which prefers the low light. They grow well in the low light. So this is another variety of money pothos, marble queen pothos, and they also prefer the low light and grows really well in the shady area. So these plants also prefers the low light. Now see, this is neon pothos, and these plants are beautiful decorative indoor plants. So these plants prefer the low light. They grow really well in the shade. They also prefer the well moistured soil. Snake plant is another beautiful plant which prefers the low light. They grow really well and you can really maintain them easily because they are low maintenance. So this is another beautiful low light preferred plant. Keep it in area where it gets a filtered sunlight. Lucky bamboo grows really well in the well balanced moistured soil. Keep it in an area where it gets the low light as well. They also prefers the filtered sunlight and they grow well in the low light area. Beautiful anthurium plants also are beautiful house plants. They also attract the beauty and the elegance in your home. You can keep this as a decorative plant also. Keep this plant in area where it also gets the low light. They also prefer the filtered sunlight. Bright sunlight will burn the leaves of this plant, so keep it in an area where it gets only low light. So this is another plant which you can grow in the low light area. Cichonium plants also prefer the low light or the partial or shady sunlight. They also grow really well in the low light locations, and do not keep this plant also in the bright sunlight because they also get the leaves damaged. So keep this plant in area where it gets the low light to grow well. Aglonema plant. This is another plant which prefers the moisture balance of the soil, and they grow well in the low light. So this also one of the best plants for indoors, and they also prefer the shady or partial sunlight, and they grow well in the low light. These beautiful begonias also prefers the low light, and they also grow well in the semi-shade, and because they also prefers the moisture balance in the soil. So keep these plants also in a low light area where they will grow beautifully. Asparagus fern plants also prefer the semi-shade, or they also grow well in the low light. So keep them also in an area where it gets the filtered sunlight or prefer the moisture in the soil. So keep them in a place where it gets the low light. Chinese evergreen plant also another plant which prefers the low sunlight, and they also grow well in the shade. So keep this beautiful evergreen plant also in the low light area to grow well and healthy. Swiss cheese or monstera plant also prefers the low lights. They also do not like the bright sunlight, direct sunlight. So this will also grow beautifully in a low light area. So grow these beautiful ornamental plants in low lights. I have described about 10 plants that grow in the low light. So hope you find this video very useful. Thanks for watching.